Hi, I'm Chef Steve. Welcome to the Care Kitchen, where we cook with kindness. This program is brought to you by ComForCare and At Your Side. ComForCare and At Your Side provides personal care for people throughout the United States and Canada. I'm here with our program, Care Kitchen, every Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern, demonstrating some recipes from the Care Kitchen cookbook, as well as experimenting with various ingredients and introducing you to many ingredients that you may be familiar with, but many that maybe you're not so familiar with or haven't worked with in cooking. And that's really what this is all about. It's being creative with food so that we are able to, learn a little bit more how to cook so that we can cook what our clients or loved ones or ourselves prefer and what we want. And also keeping a very careful eye on nutrition and understanding how nutritional needs can change and how diet and our cooking needs to be affected as people age. So we focus on cooking for older adults and modifying recipes, using ingredients that work, and making sure that the nutritional needs are met. So part of that is introducing some great ingredients that have tons of nutritional value and also are delicious and fun to work with and can do so many things. Tomatoes, of course, you can do so many things with tomatoes. And I've got various tomatoes here today, and I showed you some of the setup of what we've got, the type of tomatoes. We'll go into a little more detail. And I'm fortunate because I've got some nice fresh basil to use in one of our preparations that we're going to do today from my friend's garden. And I also have a beautiful green heirloom tomato that is also from someone's garden that we're going to make a salsa with today, something a little bit different. We've got some beautiful Roma tomatoes here. Plum tomatoes, Roma tomatoes are very good for cooking, making sauces, also good for slicing. It's a meatier tomato. It doesn't have quite as much water content in it. It's got a little more meat on it. We also have some beautiful little tomatoes. These are some mini tomatoes. They're really good. And then there's grape tomatoes. We have yellow ones and all different colors of these grape tomatoes, and they are absolutely delicious as well. So there's so many options today at the grocery store to brighten up the plates with all the color and, of course, the nutritional value of tomatoes. Tons of vitamin C. Tomatoes really are a great source of vitamin C. Tomatoes are really considered a fruit. They're not really a vegetable. They're a fruit. There's also lots of other nutritional benefits in tomatoes. And the color, anything with a strong color in it, provides extra value. So, tomatoes in a diet, of course, with many other things, and it's all about that combination of foods being so good. And, it's interesting because tomatoes were one of those things that when they were first introduced, they were thought to be poisonous, and people stayed away from them for a long time. But of course, they've become so popular in our cuisine and in really all across and many, many other cuisines as well. We see tomatoes being used. Of course, we have them canned as well. We have all fresh showing here today because of the time of the year. Of course, it's available, but tomatoes are available all year round, fresh. But canned are so useful. Whole plum tomatoes, like I showed you, like these, are also canned. They're crushed using the same tomato. You'll see crushed tomatoes. Pureed is a little bit smoother in consistency. Sauce is a little bit of, it's a little watered down, so to speak. In other words, it's a crushed tomato. It's pureed tomato. It's very smooth, and it's a little thinner to use. You'll see that. Great addition in sauces, of course, any soups. And then, of course, tomato paste, which is very concentrated tomato, cooked down to where you can just put a little bit in, available in tubes or the little cans that you see, to put some in to enhance that tomato flavor. So that's what tomato paste is used for. Then, of course, we have sun-dried tomatoes, and they are tomatoes just like this that are cut in half and dried in the sun. And then they're packed in olive oil, or sometimes they're just sold dried, and then you can reconstitute them as well. So, tomatoes are in many things, sauces. We've been using them for years. Today, we are going to do a few different preparations using these tomatoes. First thing I'm going to start with is I am going to make a little pizza using these tomatoes. But what I want to do with this, we're going to experiment. And one of the things that we have in the Care Kitchen cookbook is a whole section on cooking with and for people living with dementia. So one of the great activities that really works well, and we have these highlighted in the cookbook, one of them is making pizzas together. Now, the beauty of that is we have lots of different ingredients that we can use to create something. So one of the great things that we can do is just have all the ingredients sorted out, have them available, and then we can put together whatever we want. I'm going to do something a little bit different today. And I've been thinking about this pizza combination, and I'm going to try it. And it may sound a little bit offbeat to you, but I think it will be very delicious, and you can experiment with me. And let's do that first. So let's make a little space here to work with our dough, get our ingredients ready. I have some dough here ready to go, and we're going to get together a little pizza. We've got our pan, got some dough, nice fresh dough for this. This is actually dough that I did not make. I got this dough from the supermarket. It's available, very easy to work with. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to just stretch this out a little bit, get it ready for our pizza. We're going to use a small rectangular pan to do this, just working with the dough a little bit, stretching it out. And then we'll get into our tomatoes, because tomatoes, of course, are going to make a great topping. But today we're going to make this pizza. We're also going to, while this is cooking, we're going to demonstrate a tomato and mozzarella salad. You may know it as a caprese salad. Fresh tomatoes, fresh mozzarella, and some fresh basil, which I happen to have here, thanks to my friend's garden. So I'm going to continue stretching the dough out, and we'll get it to a place where we can get it in our pan and continue stretching a little bit. I'm just working with it, and no fancy tossing on this particular thing, because I don't want to embarrass myself if it either sticks to the ceiling or falls on the floor. So this works just fine. I'll leave that to the fancy pizzeria guys. Okay, so I've got my dough ready to go in the pan. So what I'm going to do is just put a little bit of olive oil down here, and I'm going to sort of dredge the dough a little bit in it, one side, flip it over like so, and then just continue to press this dough into the pan. We've got a little olive oil on there, which is what we want anyway for this preparation. And I'm not telling you what I'm going to put on here yet, so that I have the element of surprise, because it's going to be a very different kind of a pizza here than maybe what you've had before. Now, if you have had this pizza, I would really appreciate if you would let me know if this is something that you're familiar with. So please feel free to comment. Let me know what you think. I also want to let you know that all of our Care Kitchen programs that you see each Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern are right after the show. We upload them to the ComForCare at Your Side YouTube channel, where you can see all the videos. They're all there by topic, what we've done, so you can refer back to those on previous episodes, previous shows. So anyway, here we go. We are just about there. This is pretty much spread through. our pan. Wipe up my hands a little bit here. Haven't made too much of a mess yet, which is a good thing. Okay, let's put our dough over here and get our toppings ready. Okay, so what I'm going to put on this pizza, and of course I'm going to put some tomatoes. I'm going to put some red onions. I'm going to put some caper, and I'm going to put a special tuna on here. Now, this is a special tuna that's packed in olive oil. Now, you could use any tuna for this, but I happened to find this and wanted to try it. So this is a little bit different, a tuna pizza. Okay, so let's get our red onion slices together. Put that on. We're going to use some of this red onion for another recipe that we're going to do in a minute. Okay, so let's get our onion kind of in some pieces so we can still see it well because it's very good visually. Okay, so we've got our onions. We'll need some tomato. And since it's a tomato festival today, we definitely want to feature the tomatoes. And we'll make some nice thin tomato slices of this tomato. Just to let you know here, I am using this knife is a very nice little knife. It has a serration on it, serrated edges. And it's very handy to use, a nice little tool for the kitchen that's easy, great for slicing things like tomatoes. And you can get that nice thin slice. Okay, so we've got our onions, we've got our tomatoes. We're also going to put capers on here. Now, you may recall in one of our previous episodes, I was making chicken piccata. That episode uses capers in that recipe, and capers grow in a bush. They're very similar in flavor to olives. They're tiny little things, and they really taste good with any kind of fish or poultry. They really are very universal in use. They have a nice flavor that really is going to add to this overall. Okay, so I've got my olive oil on the dough. And what I'm going to do next is I am going to put some of this cheese on here. Now, this particular cheese that I'm using, this one here is a fresh Spanish queso. It's similar to mozzarella. It has a little bit more sharpness to the flavor than the fresh mozzarella. It's still a very mild cheese and will really taste delicious in this combination that we're putting together. So we're going to put some of these pieces of cheese down on our pizza and get those there. Okay. And we don't want to have too much cheese on this pizza, so that'll probably be enough right there. Put this aside for use later. Okay. We've got our cheese, olive oil on there. We've got cheese down on there. And let me just grab a little bit of garlic powder here, which I neglected to pull out. And let's put a little garlic powder down on this. Okay. All right. Next ingredient we're going to put on here is our tomato slices. We're going to put some tomato slices on the pizza. And this is a lot of fun. Now, this is the kind of thing that you can do with your client, your loved one, family member, somebody who's living with dementia. This is really a lot of fun because they can direct you. They can even do some of these steps, come up with ideas. Maybe it's a zany combination, but it might work. You never know. So give it a try. It can't hurt. Okay. Next thing we're going to put on here are some nice of these red onions. And that looks great. It's so colorful. And, you know, that's so important. And, you know, we've done episodes about presentation, the importance of presentation. But this is the kind of thing that's getting the appetite going. You know, it's really sort of celebrating all these wonderful ingredients that we have available to us. It is quite amazing to have such an array, a variety of ingredients that are available to us. Okay, so I've put the tuna into this bowl, and really what it is little strips of tuna. This is very nice, beautiful product. Found it in the grocery store. And unlike the normal tuna that's all sort of crushed up, ground up, however you want to call it, these are like little fillets that you could see. It's very nice. We're going to put those on there. And as I said, this is a beautiful experiment. I have a feeling that we've got nothing to lose here because I have a feeling this is going to be quite delicious. Put that aside for later. And then our next ingredient, we're going to put some of these capers and let them kind of go on there, spread around, and we've got our capers there. So this pizza is ready to go in the oven. I'm going to pop this in the oven. This is going to take approximately 20 to 25 minutes to bake, and then we'll see what we have. I have a feeling it's going to be quite delicious. So let me pop this in the oven, and we'll be right back, and we'll do one of our other preparations next. We're going to make a tomato and mozzarella salad, also known as a caprese salad with fresh basil, and we'll make that in just a minute. Okay, well, our pizza's in the oven, and we're going to get started on our next recipe, which is going to be that caprese salad. Sliced tomato, sliced fresh mozzarella, some olive oil, a little bit of salt, and some of our delicious fresh basil right here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my mozzarella cheese, and I'm going to make some slices. Okay, this is a nice mozzarella ball, and we just want to make our slices, and that should be enough for our salad plate. Okay, the next thing we need is some more tomato slices. Slice those, and I've got my trusty tomato slicing knife here, which, as you see, cuts through beautifully, and you get a nice tomato slice. Okay. All right, so we've got our tomato, we've got our cheese here, and we've got some nice basil leaves here. Let's pick a few basil leaves off of the stem for our plate. Okay, a few basil leaves. And so now we're ready to plate this up. This is really a delicious salad, mozzarella and tomato. Okay, we'll put down a tomato slice, put down a cheese slice, put down another cheese slice, and tomato slice, cheese, tomato, cheese, tomato, cheese, and tomato. Okay, very simple and quite delicious. We've got some beautiful basil leaves to complement this flavor-wise, and certainly from the standpoint of presentation. We got some beautiful looking plate there. Okay, and now what we're going to do is drizzle this with a little olive oil. So we'll just get a little bit of drizzle here on this. And a couple other things we need. We need some salt. Okay, put a little salt on it. Need that. And we're ready to go. And that absolutely looks delicious. Look how beautiful that is. That's a beautiful caprese salad. Very simple. Fresh tomato, fresh mozzarella, some fresh basil leaves, and it is really good. So you can see how nice that looks. Okay, so let's put it aside for now. And what we're going to do next And keep in mind our pizza's cooking, our interesting tuna pizza with tomatoes and cheese, and red onions and capers. Next thing we're going to make with this great green tomato that I have. This is an heirloom green tomato, an heirloom meaning this is, some of the tomatoes that grow from back many years ago that are the original kind of seeds before all of the, manipulation to the seeds went on, changing it to make the tomatoes stay ripe longer so that they would have more shelf life. This is sort of the natural, original kind of tomato before any of that happened. So, but what we're going to do, and this is green, of course, if I let this sit, it would continue to ripen and become red, but we're going to take advantage of this for something a little bit different and make a green tomato salsa. Okay, so let's get this started. We're going to cut this up, and you see what that looks like on the inside. Beautiful looking tomato. And we'll just take some of this. And sometimes with these things, you may have to cut off a few spots that aren't good, but that's sort of the nature of vegetables that are grown in this way, in a more natural way. You may find some little blemishes and various things on them. Okay, so let's get the rest of our tomato. It's quite meaty, as you can see. And we're going to get a fair amount of yield on this salsa. Okay, so I've got a bowl here to add this. So what we're going to do is we're going to dice up this beautiful green tomato. And we'll get it in our bowl. So this is going to be a really nice salsa. Now this salsa could be used, we typically think of salsa and chips, but a salsa is a great thing to complement a piece of fish, chicken, whatever you like, or just really honestly as a salad topping with some lettuce, and use this almost like a dressing. And you can add some other things to it. You can certainly make a nice salad, put this salsa, some grilled chicken that you may have left over, something of that nature. You could also take this salsa and a piece of fish like tilapia, and you could actually use it and bake it right with the tilapia. It would be delicious. You could also serve this with shrimp. It would be very, very good with shrimp taco, or just shrimp on a plate. So many great things that you can do, and so many great salsa ideas. This is just one. And that's really a whole category in and of itself, because these salsas, we think of these are fresh salsas, salsa fresca. And then, of course, there are salsas that use cooked tomatoes, cooked peppers, cooked fruits, any other type of thing. So we're going to just pop these green tomatoes in our bowl here. It's a nice diced up green tomato. And of course, I always like to clean as I go, so it eliminates having to clean so much after the fact. It's also easier to cook and keep organized if you clean as you go. I've got one more little piece of tomato here. And it's kind of amazing because this one tomato, of course, it was quite big, filled the bowl. And this one tomato is giving us a full bowl of salsa. So let's keep going here. You see how juicy this is. It really is going to be quite delicious. Okay, let's get this in here. And we'll just clean up a little bit more. Then we'll get the rest of our ingredients going here. So the other thing we're going to put in here is we're going to put some red onion. And we're going to take a couple of these peppers. I've got a yellow mini pepper, and I've got an orange mini pepper. And we're going to add those along with some red tomato. Red onion. We already have red tomatoes right here. Red tomato, red onion. Okay, so let's get some onion diced and get it into our bowl. Okay, it's beautiful colors, and the colors are just so nice, especially, this time of the year something very fresh when it's hot outside. You have that nice, cool, fresh kind of a meal to have. It's very nice. So that's the beauty of these salsas. Okay, we got some red onion going in the bowl. And one more ingredient, we're going to put some of the multicolored pepper in. Get those in there. And then we'll be ready to go. Okay. Now these little peppers, I'm going to do a program about peppers. We'll have a pepper festival because peppers is another thing. It's just such a fascinating ingredient. Now these are mini peppers. These are wonderful, and we're going to show you these in another episode to roast. Roasted, these mini peppers roasted with garlic and olive oil make a absolutely delicious side. Delicious ingredient for sauces or dishes that you're making, and then they hold in the fridge, and it's just a great little condiment as well to have with a sandwich or whatever you may be having. Okay, we're almost there here with our pepper, and then we'll just add a little bit of salt to this. Our pepper in there. Okay, look how colorful that looks. We haven't mixed it up yet. And of course, going along with our challenge all the time is to get a bowl that's seemingly too small and then work to mix it without dropping anything on the table. This is my little challenge I set for myself. You may want to set a challenge for yourself. My goal is to have a small bowl to wash instead of a big bowl, but it's totally up to you. And that's just a little bit of fun, and that's personalizing too. You may like the way I do this. You may have your own style of doing it. That's the beauty of cooking. It's developing that style, being creative, and having a lot of fun with it. Okay, so the next ingredient we're going to put in this is some salt. We're going to put some salt in here. And we're going to mix this up in a moment. We're going to put some garlic powder in here, a little bit of that. And then we need a little bit of an ingredient. Sometimes I put lemon juice in this, but I'm going to use rice wine vinegar today because I really like the flavor of it. You've seen me use this before. It is a mild vinegar. It's seasoned a little bit with salt and a little bit of sugar. And now we're going to mix this up and we're going to give it a taste. This is like such a beautiful looking dish. I just love it when we get the green tomatoes. And of course, I'm using this green tomato in a salsa, but one of the classics, of course, is fried green tomatoes. Fried green tomatoes, take the tomato slices, dip them into a little flour, egg, and then cornmeal and fry them in a pan. That is a delicious thing to do too. And if anyone is interested in having me demonstrate that sometime, please put that in the comment. I'd love to hear from you. Let me know what you'd like to see. But this is coming out so attractive, and you can see how nice this would look if you took a spoonful of this and put it on a piece of fish or a piece of chicken or just on the side. It would just add so much color to the dish. Okay, well, it's mixed up well enough now. I am going to give it a taste, see what we got, and see if we need to adjust any of our seasoning. Delicious. So good. But it does need a little more salt. You see, and that's where you have to taste. So put a little more salt in there. And I use that spoon for tasting, so we want to get a fresh spoon here. We never want to double dip. We want to make sure that everything is always sanitary all the time. That's why it's really important to have some tasting spoons out so that you have several to use. You could also use a little disposable spoon as well for that. Okay. So let's just give this another little taste. Make sure that we have the seasoning right. That did it. Okay. That is a green tomato salsa with mini peppers and red onions. We have some rice wine vinegar in there, and we have some salt and a little garlic powder, and it is absolutely delicious. So we've got that. And so now we're waiting on our pizza, and I can't wait to try that because this is really something that's quite different. So we're going to grab the pizza out of the oven and see what it looks like, and then we'll cut it and taste it. So can't wait for that. We'll be right back with that one. Okay, so we're back and we've got our pizza out of the oven, our tuna pizza. Here's what it looks like. Came out beautifully. And we're going to cut it. So I have on there the Spanish style fresh cheese. We've got olive oil on the dough, the cheese. We've got our sliced Roma tomatoes, the plum tomatoes. We've got some red onion on there. We've got some capers. And we've got this special tuna and olive oil. And I want to mention to you, we've got a question regarding the tuna that came in, asking if I use regular tuna packed in water, how would I go about using that? Well, the first thing you'd want to do is make sure that you drain that tuna very well. So you drain all the water off and then go ahead and use it the same way. You may want to add a little bit of olive oil to the tuna before you put it on, just to give it, enhance that flavor a little bit. Okay, so now we're going to cut into this and see what we have. Okay. Can't wait to try this. This is quite an experiment here. Little tuna pizza. Okay, so let's see what we've got. I'm going to just take a little taste here, get a piece with the tuna on it, see what we've got. Looks quite good. That's great. It kind of tastes like a tuna melt, but really better. You know, it's got that cheese, that tuna flavor. It's mild. You have the saltiness and quality of the olive and the caper, creaminess of the cheese. You've got a little crunch and of the red onion in there. It's really quite delicious. Really great. So that's what this pizza looks like. And let's just take our rest of our pizza here and just put it on a plate. We can take a look at that. We're going to put this aside for later and just do a little bit of a recap on the items that we made today in our tomato festival. I want to remind you this program is brought to you by ComForCare and At Your Side. We're here every Thursday at 1 p.m. with our Care Kitchen program, where we cook with kindness, kindness being the most important ingredient, featuring recipes from the Care Kitchen cookbook. Today, we featured the section on cooking with and for people with dementia in talking about making a pizza as a fun activity to engage with your client, family member, your loved one, or just having some fun yourself. Makes a great party. Put a bunch of ingredients out, go crazy, try it. You never know what combinations may work, and I imagine that a lot of the classic combinations came up just through experimentation. So maybe you'll come up with your own classic. This one I'm definitely going to make again because it's quite delicious and very nutritious. We've got some tuna on there, which adds protein. It's a great source of potassium. We all have tomatoes on here, which are loaded with vitamin C and many other great nutrients. We have some cheese on here, which adds some more protein. We've got red onions, which also are anti-inflammatory onions. So it really has a great nutritional punch. So that's our pizza, our tuna pizza. We also made a delicious salsa using a green tomato, peppers, and onions. This is not spicy. We use sweet peppers. You could certainly throw a jalapeno in there if you like spice. And that's a delicious on its own, just eaten like a salad or on a bed of greens. Great topping for fish, great topping for chicken. Just a delicious little special salad that we can make when we get the green tomatoes, which is nice. And then, of course, we made our classic caprese salad, the mozzarella and tomato salad with fresh basil, olive oil, and that looks absolutely delicious. So I've got a lot of nice things here, and my wife and I are going to enjoy these for lunch today. So that's another great benefit of cooking for you. I get the benefit of trying it, and I hope you'll try it too and really just enjoy this great fresh food, cooking with kindness, where kindness is the most important ingredient, engaging with those that we're cooking for, and just having some fun. Maybe we're just cooking for ourselves and having fun, cooking for loved ones, cooking for our clients. We can make it a fun, engaging activity and also get some great nutrition through the process and really enjoy the food. That's the goal. Okay. Well, this has been great today. I appreciate you spending time with me. I look forward to seeing you next week for another episode of Care Kitchen Cooking with Kindness at 1 p.m. Eastern every Thursday. Please visit the ComForCare and At Your Side website. There's lots of information under the Senior Nutrition section, and you can download some free recipes and other information. The Care Kitchen Cookbook will also be available very soon on Amazon, and I'll let you know when that's available and how you can go about ordering it. Well, thanks very much for spending time with me. I'll see you next time. Have a great day, and make sure that you do some cooking and have some fun. Thanks.